What's going on, YouTube? Thanks for tuning into the channel. Welcome to So Simplified, coming to you here with a video about 5 weeks left in Q1. Have you given up yet? Uh, we all know that with New Year's resolutions, a lot of goals, things like that. By this time, most people have fallen off the track of basically everything they've planned. And this year, for myself, I'm very adamant about just sticking to what my goals are at the beginning of the year and just making a conscious effort to refocus, regroup every week as much as I can, every day, pretty much, because you got to make the commitment every day to stay focused on this and just make this the year that a lot of things that I've been planning to do, that I'm able to get a large chunk done in 1 year. So, really, this one's for me just as much as it is for you, but I know a lot of people are in the same boat. So, let's just jump into this. So, the first part that I want to start on is like, where are you in terms of your goals and the express plans that you had when this year started? And the reason why I want to start there is pretty obvious. Like, first off, like, have you fallen off? Is this something that you're still um focusing on the way that you should? Like, are you completely back to your old habits? Is this something that you're still tracking towards? One thing that I've noticed for myself, and I think this is what a lot of people run into. Now, I know there's the idea of the SMART goal. Like, I think it's like specific, measurable, I forgot what the A is, but like time bound, I think is the T. But the main part about it is that it's like they're very achievable goals, which I think is a way to do it. But for me, I'm a very ambitious person, and a lot of my goals are like kind of a little bit out there. So when I do write them down and I make specific plans, what I realized, I was a little bit more ambitious than I realize, like, that maybe there's not enough time in the day. Maybe there's other things come up that kind of get you sidetracked. Now, what a lot of people will do is just reduce the goal or forget about it altogether. I think that there becomes this aspect where you just need to kind of refigure and adjust how you're going to get there. One big thing is that you're going to probably need to remove things that you aren't doing, that you are doing currently, that are not serving you towards moving towards that purpose. That's one. And then the next one is just, are you tracking what you're doing? I think for myself, that's probably the biggest pitfall that I've had this year, that I really made a commitment to track and I really haven't been tracking. I've been getting certain things done, but things have been falling by the wayside. But I have no daily reminder or barometer or feedback loop that tells me, Devin, at this day, or I mean, I guess I'm doxing myself, but at this day, um, you fell off in X area, you've fallen off in this area. And I generally separate my life into like money, fitness, relationships, and then uh really just kind of like your well-being in your environment. So like your home life, cleaning things up, things like that. Those are really like the four pillars. So in those four pillars, like, where are you doing well, where are you falling off, and things of that sort. So are you tracking your goal? And if you have fallen off, how have you fallen off? Is it because you just stopped doing something, where the goal is too ambitious and then therefore you did nothing? Or have you just like forgot about the plan entirely? That's step number one. Step number two, or idea number two on this topic for myself, is that you need to push outside your comfort zone and take all the shots you can. Um, there's a specific thing that I'm thinking in my head, that certain things that I don't pull the trigger on, that I think about for too long, that there is no benefit in thinking and waiting. The longer you think and wait, the bigger the fear grows. It's like a fire. So the more oxygen you give a fire, or the more time you give something that you're a little bit hesitant about, for whatever reason, the bigger that will grow. And that you just need to take the shots that you can, the shots that are open, the shots that are available. Don't worry about necessarily the outcome. And the idea that it's going to feel comfortable is kind of uh, almost ridiculous. That most of your goals are going to be beyond your comfort zone. If it was within your comfort zone, you probably would have already achieved it today. You'll never hear me have a goal that to work out like daily or on a repetitive basis, because that's something that is so ingrained in me there is no goal. Now I might write it down as like a to do, but it's still one of the easier things to do. And even when I'm like screwing off the most, I still probably will get a workout in. So you need to push to do the things that you generally put off. And that's where tracking really comes into play, that you can see the things that constantly are being left out that you're not doing, and you can focus on those. And really just understand that when you make a plan, the reason why people fall, and I'm one of these, I'm a big planner. And the reason why people fall so in love with plans is because plans are where the comfort is. It's very comfortable to be, an armchair quarterback. It's very comfortable to write about a plan in the abstract before you have to do it. The pain is going to be in the action and the feedback that you're going to feel. And the exhilaration is also going to be in the action, whether good or bad. That's where all of the real feedback is going to come from. You're always going to feel comfortable in the plan. Everything's always going to feel achievable in the plan. The pain and the real results and where the rubber meets the road is in the action. And one thing that I always stress, if you watch my videos, you'll know this is a key theme of mine, that courage is one of the most important things. And courage is not acting without fear, is acting in spite of the fear. That something is not courageous if you are not fearful. When we talk about somebody that is brave and that, kind of struck out and did something, the reason why we admire them or put them on a pedestal is because they are walking through something we know is not comfortable. We know was very doubtful. We know that there's pain and doubt, anxiety, fear. All those things were all present when they still took the action. And then that's really what kind of sums up this, that you need to push outside your comfort zone, understand that courage is acting in the spite of fear, and just take all the shots you can. Anything that's open or even contested, just give it a go. And the third point that I want to touch on is just more about like looking into the future. And this is really what this year is all about for me. I've turned 34 on January 15th. I'm pretty firmly in my mid 30s. It's pretty much to the point where it's like, if I don't start being the man that I want to be now, like, when will it ever happen? Which is kind of the last part of this, which I'll get to in a second. But ways you can do this is just think, like, where would your life be in 1 year if nothing changed? Then look even further. Where would it be in 5 years? So for me, it's like in 1 year, I'm 35. In 5 years, I'm almost 40. In 10 years, I'll be beyond 40. What happens if you were the same person then? And one thing, especially as like a man, one thing you kind of start to realize is that the expectations people have on you, and I don't think this is like the best reason for you to necessarily like do something, is based on other people's expectations, but it still is a factor. The expectations people have on you just grow as you get older. Like, if you don't have your life figured out by 40, nobody really cares. Nobody has any sympathy for you. Nobody's going to tell you have time. It's just like, you didn't do what you should have did when you should have did it. And it is what it is. This is your life. This is the lot you get, and this is the receipt you're gonna get in life. And sometimes doing that exercise and really seeing, it's like, would I be happy with myself if I'm the same guy in 10 years? For me, I know that wouldn't be what I want to see, even though I have achieved a decent amount of things at this age of 34. But with that in mind, doing those things can sometimes give you the fire in the ass, build the urgency for you to make those actions now, because you're never going to get this time back. Another point on this idea is that I live in America. If you look at a lot of the things that are going, if you watch some of the content on my channel, I firmly believe within the next 18 months, we're going to see a pretty substantial economic collapse. It can take like kind of form in many different ways, but I definitely don't think that the US of old is going to stay the US of old. It's really going to be changing, kind of, I think, rapidly, and not in necessarily a positive way. So even when you think about this 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, if you're in the US, just think, and even other countries, because this is all, it's all global at this point. Everything is connected. Um, that like if things were to go bad, are you just barely living at status quo where you wouldn't be able to deal with it? Now, a lot of the economic collapse is going to be talking about a financial well-being, but your financial well-being can affect every other piece of these those pillars, whether it's your money, whether it's your health, your relationships, or just your environment in general. All of that can be changed by not being able to deal with something like an economic collapse. And the last point on this idea is really the if not now, then when. And this is something I've told myself many times, but I think it's really kicking in this year because one, I do see this economic collapse happening. I think it's going to affect a lot of people, and I want to be prepared and prepared not just to weather it, but to take advantage in some shape or form. Um, but also that idea that like I'm firmly an adult. Like next year, I would qualify to run for president in terms of like the age limit, where it's like you have to be at least 35 to be the president in the US. And that's really kind of a firm adult age. You have enough life experience. You should be a full fledged, not like I'm not a full fledged adult, but like the things that you want to do, I feel like you should be getting started on them, not necessarily having all the achievements, but being the person you want to be. And there shouldn't be any real fear in that. And the last point I want to get to is that nothing is actually stopping you. There's a great book that I read called The Courage to Be Disliked, and it talks about a ton of things. But one of the things that it really focuses on is that you get to choose your lifestyle at any point. However, your life is, at any point, you can make the decision to change it all. And if you don't change it, you're choosing to stay in that particular lifestyle. And what I mean by this is that a lot of the limitations, your fears, well, definitely your fears, but the limitations you feel, things like that, are not actual physical limitations. They're not actually objective. These are all projections that are in your mind that are limiting you from what you can really do. And a lot of it, at least for me, has to do with attachment to the outcome and then assumption of the outcome. Like you have had experiences, so you assume that it's going to go this way. You also feel like if I do this and I don't get this back, therefore I failed. Therefore it didn't work. Therefore I should just give up. Therefore I'm going to lose steam and um, lose like the ability. And I think it was, I forgot who said it, but they were basically saying that confidence is going from rejection to rejection without losing enthusiasm. And that kind of like focuses on this idea. And what you should really have confidence in is your plan and executing your plan, not in the outcome. The process is what's most important. As long as you're doing what you can do, controlling the controllables, you should be in good shape. And honestly, at the end of the day, money is in the execution. I know I brought up the plan again, but I do have to focus on the idea that execution is the only thing that really matters. That if you're not executing and doing what's on the plan, nothing really matters because you really just didn't do anything. You just wrote stuff down and everything is just foo foo at this point. And then the last point that I want to make on this nothing is stopping you piece is that you need to make a commitment to change. There's a reason why people make goals at the beginning of the year, and there's a reason why a lot of people don't follow through. They're not committed to actually changing to become a different person, to become the person that does X, person that does Y, the person that does everything that's on the sheet. What a lot of people want to do is they want to get all of their goals and all of their rewards without changing themselves at all, which is pretty much like, I mean, it's ridiculous. Like the reason you're getting the results you're getting is because you are who you are. And if you want to get different results, you need to be a different person and do different things. And a lot of that comes down to just doing what the things you already know you should do. I'm a firm believer that a lot of times it's not that people don't know what to do, it's that they either need somebody to push them and like give them permission, or they're just like terrified of what the outcome could be, not even what it will be, what it possibly could be, because something bad could happen. You're not even going to try. So that's really it for this one. I just wanted to make a quick video. This once again is like kind of more of a reminder for myself. There's certain things that I need to kind of revamp in terms of the plan, getting these videos out, especially on my second channel, which is really the channel that I want to be the channel to kind of grow a little bit faster, since it's going to be niched down. It's going to be just focused on MMA. But this is the one that I have been putting up. I've been doing more videos than I have in past years, in past recent years. So I'm proud of that, but definitely some spots where I need to, um, make some improvements, whether it's just being a little bit more disciplined, pushing through some of the drudgery, definitely tracking what I'm doing so I can see where I'm missing, and not feeling despondent in any kind of way because I'm not seeing the results right away. It's only been 2 months into the year. So, I have time to fill the goals, but if you don't do what you need to do in the time that's passing, you'll never achieve what you need to achieve. So that's really it for this one. To summarize everything, let's start off with, 5 weeks left in the quarter. Where are you in terms of your goal? Make sure you're very cognizant about that. Once you understand that you're going to need to push through your comfort zone, since all of your goals and things you want to achieve are going to be outside of your comfort zone. And the way you do that is take all the shots you can when those opportunities arise, and have the courage to do it in spite of the fear or anything that you feel like is holding you back. Um, if you need to kind of give yourself a little urgency, really think about, where will I be if I don't change? If I don't make these changes, where will I be in 1 year? Where will I be in 5 years, in 10 years? What if there is whether it's an economic collapse or just some sort of variable that comes in that makes it so that the status quo is not as good as it was prior? Would you be able to survive, thrive, grow, etc.? What would that put you, and would you regret not taking the actions that you have planned out? And then lastly, on that particular point, like, if not now, then when? If you're not going to do it now, then when are you going to do it? Because you'll probably never get it to it. And the last thing, to round everything out, is that nothing's actually stopping you. All of your limitations in your head, and you really just need to be committed to the change, and all the money's in the execution. If you just execute your plan, execute what you know you need to do, you'll probably be in a good shape by the end of the year. So that's really it for this one. If you like the content, like, if you dislike, leave some comments below. Any feedback will do. Until next time, you know what it is. Peace.